From comic book pages to cinema screens, there are certainly no shortage of ways to take in the adventures of your favorite superheroes. But today, it's all about their small screen animated exploits. That's right, go on, pour yourself that big old bowl of sugary cereal and get ready to enjoy these superhero cartoons in all their glory. And to kickstart things, why, here's some of the best offerings from the 1990s.
Get that line.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 90s superhero cartoons.
Looks like your memory needs a little help.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most popular and impactful animated shows in the genre that were released or aired on TV right before the turn of the century. We won't be counting anime because they definitely deserve a list of their own. What's your favorite 90s superhero cartoon? Are there any we missed? Number 10. Freakazoid. In a time where action cartoons on the market tended to take themselves fairly seriously, Freakazoid broke the mold with its excellent slapstick comedy and surreal humor.
Oh, just stop.
What?
This is stupid.
You're calling my sidekick stupid?
That's not a proper sidekick, that's just your hand.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
The show followed a computer geek named Dexter who miraculously gets superpowers from the internet.
Oh, freak out!
Initially, it was supposed to follow a more traditional and grounded formula, but the show embraced a more comedic tone during development. Freakazoid often took shots at other superhero shows and didn't mind breaking the fourth wall.
Did it reveal character? How was the story advanced? We may never know. But now,
On with the adventures of Freakazoid. Pull the string.
Although the show didn't last for long, it has endured as an underrated and hilarious series. Number 9. Darkwing Duck. As soon as we heard the awesome Darkwing Duck theme song start playing, we were immediately drawn into the show.
Let's get dangerous.
Darkwing Duck!
We ended up staying for the great cast and fun setup. This series focused on the fame-hungry Darkwing Duck fighting crime and a colorful rogues gallery. Pilot Launchpad McQuack, his adoptive daughter Gosselin, Morgana Macabre, and more were there to aid him throughout his adventures.
Why can't I just stay here? We make a great team!
I am not a team.
While this series was definitely billed as a funny homage to other superhero media, it had enough character and personality to stand on its own.
I am the terror that flats in the night. I am the switch that derails your train. I am Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck quickly became a hero we wanted to have around when things got dangerous. Number 8. Superman the Animated Series. Superman's ridiculous power set and innocent nature made some people believe the character was nothing more than an untouchable and one-dimensional hero.
Okay.
You don't believe me.
It's a little much.
Fair enough.
However, we got to see his personality get more fleshed out during Superman the Animated Series. The titular hero was faced with problems that he couldn't solve with his vast abilities alone. There were episodes that dealt with corruption, family issues, and even civilian casualties. The series was also applauded for its amazing animation and writing.
I've often thought, why limit myself to just one city? A being with your abilities could be very useful to me on a, shall we say, global scale.
And along the way, it brought in iconic characters like Darkseid to face off against Superman. This cartoon soared well above our expectations by giving us an interesting version of the Kryptonian that we wanted to root for. Number 7. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Who could forget these totally radical ninjas? From 1987 to 1996, these mutant crime fighters would make us laugh while kicking shells around New York City. Since each of these heroic ninja had distinct personalities, everyone had at least one turtle they identified with most.
Oh, you gotta be kidding, Michelangelo. This guy makes pond scum look good.
Yeah, it's a terrible show.
Au contraire, compadres. It's even more radical than wrestling.
Not only is it the longest-running show on this list, but it also was consistently exciting and fun to watch throughout its run.
Surrender or else.
What now, fearless leader?
There's no choice. We can't let him hurt April. You win, Shredder. We give up.
Watching the heroes fight Shredder and his endless league of henchmen before enjoying delicious-looking pizza just never got old. Every time the theme song came out of our TVs, we were ready for another brilliant display of turtle power.
Heroes in a half shell, turtle power.
Number 6. Phantom 2040. Loosely based on the Phantom comic strips, the series followed Kit Walker Jr. as he donned his mask to try and save humanity from environmental degradation.
That formula came from Maximum Research. It's for a poison that dissolves all living tissue into its component elements, killing everything. And they're making more of it.
The action sequences were tense and exciting to watch, but the show really shined thanks to its subtle and smart storytelling. Its stories had themes of individuality, the volatility of humanity, and freedom.
Who do you think turned news into entertainment in the first place?
Not only did this superhero set the stage for many Crusaders of Justice to come, but the series has become more relevant with age.
That's what people want in their news today. Entertainment, not education. It makes their brains hurt.
While it might not have been as famous as some of the other entries on this list, Phantom 2040 deserves recognition. Number 5. Captain Planet and the Planeteers. While a show about environmentalism might sound lame on paper, the series about 5 kids uniting to protect Earth was surprisingly awesome.
It's those poor silly humans again. They're gonna destroy my planet if they keep going on like this. What's a mother to do?
They each had unique power rings that had incredible powers, and when they put their abilities together, they could summon Captain Planet.
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet.
The environmental hero and the Planeteers dealt with environmental and real-world issues head-on. They appeared in stories that showed us the horrors of everything from pollution to addictive behaviors. While the cartoon could be a tad cheesy sometimes, it still deserves credit for being so open and honest about its message.
Some rewards are greater than money. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
It wanted to empower and educate audiences to help save the Earth, while entertaining them with plenty of elemental action. Number 4. The Powerpuff Girls. Cartoon Network used sugar, spice, everything nice, and a little Chemical X to create their very own superheroines. We followed sisters Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup as they fought off monsters of the week in fantastic action sequences.
Wow, that was amazing! How did you do that? It's easy. We're superheroes. Yeah, we're the Powerpuff Girls!
What made this show stand out was its zany and incredibly varied humor. While some episodes made fun of traditional kaiju flicks, others could be packed with adult jokes that soared right over the heads of some viewers.
He made us in his laboratory by accident.
Well, what can I say?
Don't worry, Professor. I was an accident, too.
And it wasn't afraid to take the Bubbly Sisters to dark places either. The series also featured memorable villains like Mojo Jojo and the insanely mysterious Him.
Allow me to introduce myself, after which I will no longer be a stranger. I am Mojo Jojo Overcoat, and I have something that you want.
By focusing on heroines, crafting interesting characters, and adding unpredictable jokes, this series became a must-see. Number 3. Spider-Man. Since Spider-Man is consistently one of the most popular Marvel superheroes, an animated series was inevitable. We follow Peter Parker as he balances a life swinging around New York City and his civilian identity.
For once in my life, I'm worth something and I can't collect. No choice but to lay low.
While the series featured heavy plot lines, the Wallcrawler's killer wit and quips kept the show light and fun.
I like your style, but it would be nice if you were a little less conspicuous.
It was also fantastic to see famous Spidey rogues like Doc Ock, Mysterio, Venom, and many more decorate its dignified run. The show was even popular enough to spawn a less celebrated but still intriguing Spider-Man Unlimited spin-off.
Don't thank me. Just remember to support your local web-slinger.
While the show's time on air was unfortunately cut short, fans still got over 60 episodes of quality storytelling and web-slinging action.
My webbing! It's shooting out on its own!
The series definitely did the legendary webhead proud. Number 2. X-Men. The X-Men series sported a relatively mature tone with an extensive cast of characters and storylines throughout its long run.
Everyone can relax. Gambit has returned.
You're the reason I've come back! Traitor! Your future ends now!
It also used subtle allegories to help teach kids about complicated issues with standout animated action sequences. And to top it all off, it had a legendary theme song that we still love today. The show did an exceptional job at making each one of its heroes and villains stand out. And although it already had a huge cast, it even crossed over with the likes of Spider-Man for even more fun.
Watch your mouth, pal. Being a mutant's a gift.
Well, what if this gift turns me into some kind of 8-legged monster?
Even decades later, this animated series stands as one of the best and most definitive portrayals of the X-Men on television. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Fantastic Four. Marvel's first superhero family brought powerful villains to Saturday mornings.
It's a trap!
I'm the trapster, Poetic.
Silver Surfer. This Chrome Defender dealt with complex subject matter.
Master, I am ready to serve.
Then go, my Silver Surfer. The spaceways beckon.
The Max. The violence, visuals, and themes were definitely aimed at older audiences.
Hey, Max, it's getting harder and harder to buy you out of here. I heard you almost bit off Baker's finger this time.
I didn't do it.
Number 1. Batman, the animated series. This influential and classic series followed The Dark Knight as he pursued his never-ending quest to keep Gotham safe.
Welcome, Batman. Oh, a gas mask. Perhaps you are as resourceful as they say.
The show put as much work into developing Batman and his allies as they did into creating sympathetic and truly terrifying villains. While the film noir tone of the show could have flopped with audiences, its serious nature was praised by viewers.
What's the matter, Scarecrow? Can't handle your own medicine?
This series also featured iconic vocal performances like Kevin Conroy's Batman and Mark Hamill's perfect Joker.
Oh, that's a joke, right? Batman finally told a joke.
The successful cartoon also paved the way for great shows like The New Batman Adventures and Batman Beyond.
Batman!
Watching The Dark Knight's small screen adventures is just as captivating now as it was then. Batman the Animated Series still sets the golden standard for what superhero shows should be like.
Superhero cartoons often get dismissed as being just for kids. But as our next list shows, things can actually get pretty dark.
You left me buried.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 darkest moments in superhero cartoons.
Oh, my mind playing tricks on me again.
You're going back to prison.
Never.
You're not my daughter, and we're not a family. We're actors, remember?
For this list, we'll be looking at the most shocking, grim moments in animation featuring our favorite superheroes and crime fighters. Beware, there are spoilers ahead. What moments in superhero cartoons traumatized you? Any we missed? Number 10. Dark Future. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. TMNT tends to lean towards darker stories from time to time, but never did it get as dark as the death of the Turtles. After Donatello is sent to a dystopian future, he learns that in his absence, his mentor Splinter died, the team split up, and Michelangelo became a whole lot edgier.
So, it's really you. You came back.
Shredder has become the totalitarian ruler of Earth, so Don must break into his compound to travel back in time and prevent this timeline from happening. The Turtles team up, but slowly die off one by one.
Donnie! Donnie! Mikey! No!
The saddest moment is when Raphael, who had become estranged from Leonardo, crawls over to spend his last moments beside his dead brother.
Leo! Leo!
Number 9. Mary Jane's Watery Death. Spider-Man the Animated Series. This animated series wasn't shy to explore body horror, having previously seen Spider-Man turn into a horrifying man-spider. But Mary Jane's dissolution is even more haunting. Spider-Man was haunted by the death of Mary Jane, but then she suddenly reappeared sporting some extra waterbending powers. She returned to the series for a while, but during the return of Hydro Man Part 2, we learn that she's been a clone mixed in with Hydro Man's DNA. The process was unstable, and so she evaporated before Parker's eyes.
She loves Peter Parker more than anything in the world. More than anything.
No!
The idea of uncontrollably disappearing into vapor is terrifying, and the way Peter screams, having lost the woman he loves for a second time, is heartbreaking.
Mary Jane! Mary Jane!
Number 8. Massacre of the Guardians of the Globe. Invincible. When this universe's equivalent of the Justice League saves the day in the opening sequence of the first episode, it seems like Invincible is going to be a pretty wholesome superhero show. Then, at the end of the episode, Omni-Man crushes Red Rush with his bare hands. We then watch as every member of the team fall to this invincible murder machine, with each death more gratuitous than the last. The Image universe is no stranger to dark and gruesome moments, but this scene is not just amazingly gory, but also completely harrowing.
Why? Why?
Number 7. Apocalyptic Hometown. Powerpuff Girls. The Powerpuff Girls may have a few adult jokes hidden here and there, but it's still a show for younger audiences. This is why the dark episode Speed Demon was so surprising and universally traumatizing. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup race home from school ready to start their vacation, but unfortunately, they went a bit too fast, sending them forward in time. It's there that they discover everything has turned into a hellish landscape in their absence, with characters dead or drastically changed. Him announces that it's all their fault, and the townspeople agree, chanting in unison.
Why? You weren't here to protect us.
The girls band together to turn back time, but the mental scars will remain. Number 6. Stockholm Syndrome. Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. Carl Mesmith had battled with Ben 10 before this episode, using popular actress Jennifer Nocturne as bait. Much to Ben's confusion, Nocturne later breaks Nesmith out of prison.
Did you bring what I told you?
Yes.
Then it's showtime.
She's unfazed as he kills countless people and ends up almost killing Ben herself. Jennifer didn't have much beforehand, with an uninterested mother, an absent father, and an unfulfilling career. She put all of her dreams of having a new life with Nesmith, who never reciprocates her feelings unless he can use them to his advantage. This episode represents the grim reality behind some toxic relationships, with one person manipulating the other into doing horrible things.
Carl, I love you. I can't.
If you love me, you'll do as I say.
Number 5. Baby Doll's Reflection, Batman the Animated Series. One of the most tragic characters to come from DC, Baby Doll is a villain cursed with the appearance of a child, despite being well into adulthood. She kidnaps the co-stars of her cancelled hit TV show to try and reclaim the family she had lost.
Mary Doll? Is this a joke? No, sillies. I'm Baby, member?
But as Batman stops her and chases her into a house of mirrors, Baby Doll is confronted with her distorted reflection, seeing what she would be like without her condition.
That's me in there. The real me.
Knowing that it was fake, she opens fire, smashing everything around her. She then cries in front of Batman, saying her iconic catchphrase as we all realize this was just someone desperate for a normal life.
I didn't mean to.
Number 4. Angel attempts patricide, Wolverine and the X-Men. One of the worst parts about being a mutant is being shunned by regular society. Warren, aka Angel, has it worse as his father looks to cure him of the mutant gene.
This has to stop.
I've grown really tired of this conversation.
Despite trying to communicate with his father, he's ultimately kidnapped, sedated, and gets his wings surgically removed.
No! What have you done?
Once Sinister gives him a new pair of metal wings, he goes on a rampage trying to kill his father.
No, this isn't you!
It is now!
The darkest thing about this isn't just his father's role, it's Angel's own screams of anguish.
Get out of my way! Now!
Warren, please. This isn't like you.
Number 3. Batman confronts Joe Chill, Batman the Brave and the Bold. What started the Dark Knight on his crusade to rid Gotham of crime was the death of his parents at the hands of Joe Chill. Confronting Chill, Bruce starts beating him to a pulp, revealing his identity as Bruce Wayne.
I am Bruce Wayne.
No.
He ends up letting Joe live, but Joe runs to the other major villains and reveals his connection to Batman. Joker, Penguin, Poison Ivy, and many other villains turn on Chill, knowing he was the cause of their worst nightmare.
You're saying we owe Batman's existence to you? That's a killer!
As the building they're in collapses, Joe is crushed and dies as the ace detective watches. This Batman cartoon certainly wasn't child-friendly in this episode.
I guess you got me, after all.
Number 2. Superman and Death Row, Superman the Animated Series. In general, Superman is a fairly wholesome hero, and so are his cartoons, but the episode The Late Mr. Kent journeyed into dark territory. It starts with Clark looking into a man on death row who is framed. As he gets close to the answers, his car blows up with him in it. No human would survive that blast, so he continues looking into the case as Superman and learns that Detective Bowman is the culprit. Once everything is in place, he arrests the crooked cop who's sent to death row. We then have a front row seat watching Bowman's last moments, right before he's gassed, as he realizes that Superman is Clark Kent.
He's Superman.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Robin's invisible enemy, Teen Titans. Battling a threat only he can see, Robin turns against his friends.
What are you trying to say?
Robin, are you sure you really saw Slade?
Saw him? I fought him! You think I did this to myself?
Darkseid kills Dan Turpin, Superman the Animated Series. On the retreat, Darkseid kills Dan out of spite.
But remember, victory has its price.
Superman loses his family, Justice League Unlimited. The Man of Steel says goodbye to his perfect but fake reality.
I promise you, I'll never forget.
Richie gets shot, Static Shock. The superhero show tackles gun violence. Number 1. Tim Drake breaks down. Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. When the Joker kidnaps Bruce's protege, he tortures Robin into becoming his own mini Joker. After a scuffle with Batman, Joker has the Dark Knight by the collar. He gives his new mini-self a gun and demands he kill his former family. Bruce pleads with his sidekick, sadness in his eyes seeing what has been done. As Tim goes to pull the trigger, his Jokerish laughter turns into sobbing. Tim turns on Joker instead and shoots him, collapsing on the floor afterward, completely defeated.
Do it!
This scene tears you apart every single time you watch it. Batman couldn't save Robin, and both he and the audience are forever scarred for it.
It's okay, Tim. It's okay.
Okay, if you're still not convinced that superhero cartoons aren't just for kids, this next video should definitely do the trick. That's right, there's this little show called The Boys. It's based on a very graphic comic book line, and its popularity also spun off an animated show. And let's just say they kept the shock factor fully intact.
Do whatever you want.
Oh, thank you.
I wasn't talking to you.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most shocking moments on The Boys Presents Diabolical.
Boombox! Give me some violent montage music.
For this list, we're looking at parts from this animated spin-off anthology series that had our jaws on the floor. If you haven't seen Diabolical yet, there will be some super spoilers. Which episode was your favorite? Number 10. Nubia and Nubian Kill Groundhog. It's a show like The Boys Diabolical that really makes us ponder the existential questions in life. Like, if you're a washed-up Vought supervillain with giant hammers for hands, maybe you're preordained to be a tragic character.
Baby, Daddy and Mommy are getting a divorce, and Gerald's buying you a pony. Nighty-night.
Upon the revelation that her superhero parents are divorcing, Maya concocts a Parent Trap-style ruse to rekindle their romance by enlisting their original foe, Groundhog. Wait, did we say enlisting? We mean blackmailing.
LeBron James, I guess.
The plan works initially, as Nubia and Nubian remember how to work as a team. But it soon becomes clear they love the violence more than each other.
Yes!
Seeing Groundhog's blood splash on Maya's face is all we need to know that her plan backfired. And before long, she's resolved to unparent trap them.
Honey, are those our divorce papers?
It'll be better for all of us.
Number 9. Boyd's head explodes. This one takes all the nuances of dating in today's social media landscape and applies them to the superhero world. Thinking he needs to change himself to impress the girl he likes, Boyd participates in a Vought drug trial by using cream that allows him to change his physiology. He becomes a muscular man, whereas his crush Cherry adopts cat-like features upon getting her paws on the stuff.
Hi?
Meow. Seems like we're the new hot thing.
What's that mean?
Let's find out.
The two become quite the power couple, but their burgeoning narcissism is their undoing before they run out of cream and revert to their normal selves. The episode looks like it'll end sweetly with Boyd and Cherry reuniting having learned a lesson, but the side effects deteriorate Boyd's visage before his head pops like a geyser.
I see you, Boyd Dune.
Mr. Dune? Boyd?
Number 8. Great White Wonder crashes.
And now, let the Great White Wonder soar!
Papa needs a new pair of shoes!
Some of the moments from Diabolical we could see coming from a mile away, and yet they still managed to shock us with how gory they were. Billy Butcher, back to his old tricks, tracks down the Seven's personal drug dealer and blackmails him into spiking Great White Wonder's fix. Great White Wonder, already a pretty unhinged guy, absolutely cannot keep his cool during a public demonstration of his abilities. Each time he hits a new Mach speed, we cringe at how much damage he'll cause. Until, sure enough, he tears through the metallic iron cast in a horrific display of blood and viscera. The funniest moment, however, comes when the other members of the Seven so easily spin the narrative to fool the crowd.
Hidden in the light of the sun! Crow War satellite!
I see it! I see the ship!
Where?
There! Look right in the sun!
What?
Number 7. Sun Hee's Powers Manifest. Written by Andy Samberg, John and Sun Hee is surprisingly the least comedic of the episodes. Though that's not to say it's without its left turns.
What are you doing there, Johnny? Okay, very funny, man.
With his wife Sun Hee dying of cancer, John desperately tries to save her. He infiltrates Vought and administers her a stolen serum, but instead of powering up Sun Hee, the serum makes a literal monster out of the cancer. Quickly, what started out as a one-off in a superhero universe becomes a potent allegory for love and disease. But just when all hope seems lost, Sun Hee reveals powers of her own, going off to stop her cancer after giving her husband a final goodbye. Sheesh, we didn't expect Diabolical to make us cry so much. Number 6. Zoo Madness. Animated like an old-school kids cartoon, the first episode of Diabolical set the tone for all the mayhem that's to come. Vought employee Simon tries to track down an adorable baby with deadly laser vision. We'll get to more of that later, but a standout sequence sees the action wander into a zoo for some animalistic carnage. First, we watch in horror as Simon's horse escapes an alligator pit, only to immediately meet its doom in a piranha tank. Then, when Laser Baby finds herself in the gorilla enclosure, one of the hairy beasts makes pulp out of some Vought agents. By the way, kudos to anyone who caught animated versions of episode writers Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg at the end of the sequence. Number 5. Homelander's First Mission. The majority of Diabolical exists parallel to the boys' continuity, but the final episode deals with major characters directly. We all know Homelander to be easily the most despicable character on the show, but this origin of sorts shows he at least started with good intentions.
I'm sorry, but you'll need to stay here until the authorities arrive.
Ow! I can't breathe!
You'll be fine.
You wrapped a metal pipe around my chest! What the hell is wrong with you?
Set up to handle a hostage situation at a chemical plant, Homelander refuses to wait for backup and instead takes the lead on his first mission. Needless to say, it doesn't go well, as Homelander continually misreads the situation and underestimates his own strength.
You know, friend, it's hard to hold a gun when it's 500 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, you idiot! It looks...
Countless lives are needlessly lost as we get our first glimpse of how greatly Homelander's powers corrupted his judgment.
Those poor hostages. They were the real heroes.
Number 4. Sky Creates Areola. That might sound like a weird entry title, but if you've seen the episode, you know what we're talking about. Written by and starring Awkwafina, BFFS sees her character Sky peer-pressured into buying and taking drugs. Only one of the drugs she finds herself in possession of is Compound V.
Oh man, I really hope that wasn't meth.
You might be thinking to yourself, what cool superpower is Sky gonna get? Flight? Invisibility? Telekinesis? Well, much like Sun Hee's cancer, we're initially led to believe that Compound V gave sentience to a specific part of her body. In this case, a piece of poop.
It's like we're connected.
Oh, and in case you're still wondering about the entry title, the poop gives herself a very unique name.
My mom's name was Georgia, and I always love that name. It makes me think of her when I hear it.
Wow. But would it be okay if I name myself Areola instead of Georgia? Because I feel like Georgia, I just think it sounds like shit.
Yeah, it's a wild episode. Number 3, pissed off soups kill their parents.
Exhibit A, Mo Slow. Probably pisses pants before he ever reaches the bathroom. Then there's Boombox. He's got a speaker for a face, but all he can play is Only Wanna Be With You by Hootie and the Blowfish.
With an episode title like an animated short where pissed off soups kill their parents, it doesn't leave much to the imagination as to what's gonna unfold. However, leave it to Rick and Morty creator Justin Roiland to write an endlessly shocking episode.
That's right. My name is Papers. I wasn't introduced in the beginning, but because they think maybe I'm not that important, but I can locate any papers anywhere, and I'm pretty good.
After some abandoned superpowered youths learn of their parents' involvement with Vought, they resolve to use their supposedly lame powers to commit parricide in the weirdest ways.
What? I thought we got rid of you!
Set to Only Wanna Be With You by Hootie and the Blowfish, the montage features some crazy kills. From a giant sentient tongue constricting people to a guy teabagging his dad to death. But our favorite might be Mo Slow strangling his dad in, well, slow-mo.
Now you're banging me. Oh, boy. Well, this is really painful.
Oi, how much longer you reckon it's gonna take?
It doesn't matter, let's say.
Why did I ask you?
Number 2, Laser Baby decimates people. We told you we'd be coming back to this one. While the episode starts out sweet with the genuinely loving Simon trying to save failed experiment Laser Baby from being terminated by Vought, things take a turn for the grisly when Laser Baby's sneezing causes her to accidentally eviscerate bad guys. The bloodiness wrapped up in such an adorable package almost makes the proceedings resemble an episode of Happy Tree Friends, and we are totally here for it. The episode saves the best for the final confrontation, though, when Laser Baby cuts through Superbrain's bulbous head. This episode retains all the violence of a Looney Tunes cartoon, but with all the logical implications. Number 1, Sky discovers her power. Surprisingly, the most shocking moment from Diabolical comes not from a bloody moment, but from a scatological one. Going back to Sky and Areola the Poop, I cannot believe we just said that, the latter gets captured by the Deep and brought to Vought. Unwilling to give up a friend, Sky breaks in and rescues her, but has to flush her down the toilet to avoid recapture.
Oh my god! Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I was just here taking a shit.
Sky finds Areola down in the sewer, but the two are again confronted by the Deep. It's then that Areola's able to convince Sky she does have powers, at which point Sky summons a whole legion of poo.
Rise up, my turd friend!
Just when we think the show can't get any weirder, the beautifully batty mind of Awkwafina finds a way.
Right on time to get beat.
Oh, we'll see about that.
X-Men, the animated series. Yes, those 4 little words are sure to put a smile on the face of anybody who grew up in the 1990s. That's because everything from the theme song to the rip from the comic book storylines are epic with a capital E. But don't just take my word for it.
Now, you can either apologize, or I'm gonna show you how intolerant I can be.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 moments from X-Men, the animated series.
Those who oppose me shall perish through my agents of destruction.
For this list, we'll be looking at some of the most epic, iconic, and somber scenes from this 90s cartoon smash, aside from the kick-ass theme song. The scenes will be very story-heavy, so expect major spoilers ahead. Think we missed an important scene? Number 10. Tell Cyclops I made him a convertible. Night of the Sentinels. The very first mission of the series could have gone better, Beast had been captured, Morph is seemingly destroyed, and the other X-Men can't risk going back for them.
Soldier Boy here left them behind. For all we know, Morph and Beast may still be alive.
Naturally, Wolverine is frustrated, but rather than take his anger out on the others, he takes it out on Cyclops' car. He completely rips the top half off the vehicle, and when Jean goes to check on him, all he can say is,
"Tell Cyclops I made him a convertible."
That one scene established what we love the most about Wolverine, his badass attitude and his hilarious one-liners. Yes, he's supposed to be grieving at this time.
I know how you feel about it, Wolverine, but...
You know nothing, little man.
But he really made that line unintentionally funny. Number 9. Old friends reuniting. Deadly reunions. Magneto, the master of magnetism, has made his presence known, and he seeks an audience with his old friend, Professor Xavier.
I wonder how you'll look, Charles, after so long. Perhaps a toupee. Over there! I'm disappointed. I expected Xavier to be with you.
But it's clear that this isn't a happy reunion between two bosom buddies. Magneto wants the world to be dominated by mutants, while Xavier wishes for a world where humans and mutants can coexist peacefully.
Fool, you still dream of peace with those who would destroy all mutants?
Is this your answer? This horror? After all the suffering we both have seen, you wish me to wage war on 6 billion humans?
It's tragic to see this clash, knowing that these two were once dear friends, but now their ideologies are too different for them to work together again, which, sadly, is a case for anyone caught in the middle of a political divide. Xavier leaves the battle victorious, but it's clear that the war has merely begun.
All right, Xavier. You've cast your lot with humankind, but the others will understand.
Mutants will come to me by the thousands, and we shall destroy you!
Number 8. Gambit to the rescue. Slave Island. Gambit, Storm, and Jubilee have been captured and forced into slave labor on the island of Genosha.
You try to escape, the collars will be reactivated at once. If you try to remove your collar, it will explode and destroy you.
Great vacation, Gambit.
Things only get worse when it looks like Gambit turned his back on his own teammates and sold them out. In reality, faked being a traitor so that he could free his friends and liberate the enslaved mutants on the island.
You jerk! You made me think you were a traitor! Why didn't you tell me you were just pretending?
Admittedly, the Cajun mutant doesn't always give off the most trustworthy vibes. Face it, he's a trickster and a shameless flirt. For Rogue, anyway. But the one thing Gambit is not is a traitor, and this heroic rescue is irrefutable proof of his loyalty to both the X-Men and mutants everywhere.
I'm sorry I didn't trust you, Gambit. I mean, I should have known you'd never really be a traitor.
Number 7. Beast in Love. Beauty and the Beast. Despite his beastly appearance, Hank McCoy is a gentle soul and a scientific genius. He's helped a blind woman named Carly regain her sight, and she's able to see him as the man he really is.
Well,
You're
beautiful. So are you.
What about me?
You're all right.
Unfortunately, two very big obstacles get in the way of their love. Carly's mutant-hating father and the Friends of Humanity terrorists who want to exterminate mutants at all costs.
I won't have my daughter associating with some disgusting mistake of nature.
If it weren't for Dr. McCoy, your daughter's operation would not have been possible. He's a mutant!
To ensure Carly's safety, Hank must distance himself from the woman he loves until a time when humans and mutants can coexist harmoniously.
I am a mutant in a world that fears and despises my kind. I thought for a moment we could live in that world together, but I know now that we cannot.
It's a bittersweet moment, but with the sense of hopefulness knowing that someone was able to look past Hank's monstrous appearance and love him for who he is inside. Number 6. Trauma Conditioning. Weapon X. Lies and Videotape. We all know at least one part of Wolverine's troubled past, abducted by the Weapon X program and experimented on with adamantium.
Your skeleton has been infused with a rare metal called adamantium. Fascinating substance, virtually indestructible. Your bones should now be unbreakable.
However, when he revisits the facility, we find the full extent of the program's atrocities. It turns out that he and the rest of Team X were trained as weapons and sleeper agents using fake memories implanted into them. Traumatic, personal memories.
The key is to reach the subconscious mind. The subjects must be repeatedly exposed to a simulation of extreme emotional trauma. While using psychoactive chemicals, we flood the subjects' minds with false memories, overwhelming them.
Most of Wolverine's past was already a mystery, but to learn that it was mostly a lie fabricated by a corrupt research facility and being unable to figure out what was true or not is just too much for even the toughest mutant to bear.
What does it all mean, Hank? I came here to find answers, and now I know less than I did before. I can't even trust my own memories.
Number 5. Magneto's entrance. Enter Magneto. First impressions are important, and the minute Magneto arrives on screen, you can tell right away that he is a force not to be messed with.
Magneto, I presume?
Come, we must hurry.
He effortlessly walks through a prison, offers Beast a chance at freedom, and makes his ambitions known. Mutants should be the dominant race over humans. And when the guards try to shoot him down, forget it. Magneto easily handles them and just levitates away. In one quick scene, we've established more than half of what makes Magneto one of the X-Men's greatest enemies: his commanding, intimidating personality, his effortless control of his powers, and his clear hatred for all humans. Unsurprising, given his troubled past.
The humans must be crushed, and I have the power to do it.
Number 4. Rogue's Past. A Rogue's Tale. To say that Rogue had an easy life would be a bald-faced lie.
My own flesh and blood, a mutant!
Daddy, please!
You're a disgrace! I'm ashamed to be seen with you! You ain't my daughter! Not anymore!
Her mutant abilities put her boyfriend in a coma. She was disowned by her own father, only to be taken in by Mystique and raised as a mutant criminal. But when Miss Marvel came to stop her, Rogue absorbed too much from the superheroine, which gave her super strength and flight, but also trapped Miss Marvel inside her mind.
What are you doing? Mama, something's wrong! I want to let go! No! Hold on! No matter what! But something's happening, Mama! I'm scared!
For years, the Southern Belle mutant was haunted by the day she stole another heroine's life, even if it was an accident. Thankfully, the guilt calms down once Rogue visits the comatose Miss Marvel and unknowingly causes a miracle to occur. Number 3. Jean's Sacrifice. The Phoenix Saga, Part 5. Child of Light. It's safe to say that the original series succeeded where the live-action movies failed, adapting the Phoenix Saga. Jean Grey is possessed by the all-powerful Phoenix Force and is entrusted with a new mission: to protect the Macron crystal. Unfortunately, the only way to truly protect the crystal is to fly it into the sun, meaning that Jean would have to sacrifice herself.
The crystal shall be buried forever.
Jean knew the risks of becoming an X-Man, but it didn't matter to her because the needs of the many mattered more than just one life, no matter how much losing her will hurt. Miraculously, she does survive the ordeal, only to later become corrupted by the Phoenix Force and become the Dark Phoenix.
The mortal Jean Grey is no more. I am fire made flesh, power incarnate. I am the Dark Phoenix!
Number 2. Taking out the Sentinels. Knights of the Sentinels. As a whole, Knights of the Sentinels is a phenomenal series premiere for the X-Men. It establishes the show's lore and introduces us to our heroes' dynamics, personalities, and struggles.
This is Professor Xavier's School for the Gifted.
Gifted, huh? I getcha. That's a nice way of saying mutants. Weirdos. Like me.
Like all of us.
But of all the moments that came out of this episode, which one truly deserves the runner-up spot on our list? Arguably, the final battle between the X-Men and the Sentinels.
How would you like to locate the Sentinels' home base? When and where?
Not only is the action well choreographed, but it's just so satisfying watching our favorite mutants turn the mutant-hunting junk heaps into scrap iron. This small display of heroism made it clear for the rest of the series. If you threaten mutant kind or dare to cross the X-Men, you may not live to regret it. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Gambit Loves You, Reunion. With their powers disabled, Gambit and Rogue finally share a kiss.
Gambit loves you.
Rogue loses Cody, again. Love in vain. Rogue reunites with her boyfriend, only to see that he's too far gone.
Cody, please, come with us. I bet the professor can find some way to help you.
Let him go!
The Plague. Time Fugitives. Proof that X-Men was definitely ahead of its time.
Bishop is correct. The virus was genetically engineered. It doesn't appear to be lethal now, but it is dangerously unstable.
Senator Kelly's speech. The final decision. Senator Kelly finally shows his support towards mutants.
We must not forget that mutants are human beings. We must be careful that in controlling mutants who abuse their powers, we do not oppress those who would use their powers for the good of all humanity.
Number 1. Goodbye, my X-Men. Graduation. Professor Xavier is on borrowed time, and no medical treatment on Earth can save him.
We are only human, for lack of a better expression.
Is simply beyond the help of medical science.
But of course, beyond our medical science.
How serious is it? Serious enough for Magneto to put aside his mutant invasion plan just for a chance to rescue his only friend.
My greatest enemy, and perhaps my only friend. But I have waited all my life for this moment!
Wouldn't he do it for you?
Thankfully, there is one way to save Xavier, but it would mean he would have to leave the planet and possibly never come back. The series ends with the X-Men and Magneto bidding goodbye to the man who touched all their hearts one way or another.
Can he ever come back?
Perhaps not in body, my children, but my spirit shall remain among you, where it was always meant to be.
With his departure, the original series comes to a close, and we bid farewell to the action-packed, emotional, and surprisingly mature kids show that made us fall in love with the X-Men.
With Marvel and DC in direct competition, it's always fascinating when an actor crosses the line and takes on roles for both companies. But just who's played both sides in the world of animation? Let's find out.
The big screen heroes may get all the glory, but these voice actors prove that small screen characters can be just as engrossing. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 actors who had roles in both Marvel and DC animated shows.
Hello, sister. You called, I came. Now show me what I want.
For this list, we're looking at actors who have appeared in animated television shows based on Marvel and DC properties.
What are you gonna do about it?
First thing I'm going to do is go cover my tracks so no one else can figure out. You know.
It's been taken care of.
Number 10, Phil LaMarr.
You are not helping your cause here, son. Stand down.
He may have started out as a Mad TV cast member, but Phil LaMarr soon realized his true calling was voiceover work, and he's appeared as some of Marvel and DC's most powerful characters. For Marvel, he's voiced the disastrous Nuke in Avengers Assemble and the mysterious Cloak in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Hey!
I got your back.
Starting to think Fury was wrong about Cloak. This dude's amazing!
Both of these characters show the vastly different performances Lamar is able to turn in. DC is where he's truly shined, though, as the celebrated Green Lantern, Jon Stewart.
Right. I took you lightly. I won't make that mistake again.
On both Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, Lamar's layered performances gave fans reason to argue why this Lantern was better than the original.
Next time, Green Lantern, I'll do you proper.
Quiet down in there.
Number 9. Neil Patrick Harris.
Your resistance to my charm now ends when I belt these power chords.
Though he may be more well known for TV roles like Barney Stinson and Doogie Howser, Neil Patrick Harris has proven he's an excellent voice actor. He's also proven that he's one terrific singer, and he lent his pipes to Batman the Brave and the Bold as
the Music Meister.
This devious villain tried to take over the world by controlling others through song, and was a perfectly lighthearted baddie for Harris to play. His work with Marvel, on the other hand, saw him voice one of their most popular heroes.
Hello, Peter Parker.
His sardonic tone fit wonderfully with Spider-Man's quips.
How'd you track me?
You have a thing for 30mm carbine tracers. Highly illegal and sold right here. Oh, I forgot. You're not a paying customer, are you?
So much so that he got to reprise the role in the game Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Number 8. Grey Griffin, aka Grey Delisle.
I'm your #1 favorite hero. You've written fan fiction about me.
She's made a career out of voicing awesome female characters, and the same can be said of her work in the world of superheroes. Avengers Assemble gave her the opportunity to show how vital a member Captain Marvel is, with the character's immense power going hand in hand with Griffin's confident delivery.
You want to bring it? Then bring it!
She's also been given the chance to play things a bit more lightheartedly with DC.
Let's make this quick, boys. It's dinner time and I'm starving.
Batman the Brave and the Bold saw Griffin take on the role of Black Canary, and she's portrayed the Amazon warrior Wonder Woman in DC Superhero Girls.
Oh, Zeus isn't here. He's probably with Dionysus. This guy's your brother? Half-brother. It's a long story.
Each character Griffin brings to life comes with the poise and self-assuredness one would expect of a hero.
So, how about that dinner? Your treat.
Number 7. Will Friedle.
Does that make me a prince?
The official title is Star-Lord.
What a coincidence! My mom used to call me Star... That's not a coincidence at all, is it?
Chris Pratt may be film's definitive Star-Lord, but this Boy Meets World alum brings all the sardonic wit and devil-may-care attitude fans have come to love about the character, just in a more kid-friendly environment.
Oh, hey! It's the True Believer lady!
I believe you should put on your pants so we can get out of here.
He's voiced the character across several shows, from Guardians of the Galaxy to Avengers Assemble. Friedle is no stranger to DC either. He brought childlike wonder to Blue Beetle, a massive superhero fan who became one in Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Thanks. Great to be back. Who are these people and how do they know me?
Though he's also shown he can explore darker waters in his role as Terry McGinnis in Batman Beyond.
Doesn't take a detective to figure that one out.
Number 6. Troy Baker.
I believe you know my brother, Loki.
Greetings, Avengers. Good to see you again.
Although renowned for his roles in superhero video games and animated movies, this voice actor merits inclusion in this list based on his TV work alone. On the Marvel side, he's a mainstay on Avengers Assemble and Guardians of the Galaxy as both the voices of Hawkeye and Loki.
Yeah, because this situation's not insane enough already.
On the DC side, he's an instrumental part of both the Young Justice and Justice League action casts.
Dr. Jace had a name for the powers in my bloodline. She called it the Geo-Force.
Huh. Geo-Force.
He even got to do his iconic Joker voice for the Batman Unlimited series, giving viewers a small taste of the role for which he's so well known in feature films and video games. Number 5. Clancy Brown.
They're saying that Lex Luthor hasn't changed, that he can't be trusted.
Can't say I blame them.
This well-known actor has one of the deepest and most intimidating voices out there, so it's a good thing both DC and Marvel have taken advantage of it.
What? You've never seen a Red Hulk before?
Brown has portrayed the Red Hulk on Avengers Assemble with appropriate ferocity, though he's also brought that intensity to Taskmaster on the same show, as well as on Ultimate Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Nice of you to finally visit my school. Unfortunately, I'm no longer accepting applicants.
The animated role he will most likely forever be linked to, however, is that of Lex Luthor on Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Fans of this Superman villain know him to be cunning and ruthless, and Brown nailed everything that makes the character tick in his chilling performance.
You think you understand me? That you actually have anything to offer?
Number 4. Kevin Michael Richardson.
Hundreds before you have fallen by my axe. Which of you will be next to accept such an honor?
Though not quite as big of a name as others on this list, Kevin Michael Richardson has brought so many fantastic heroes and villains to life on the small screen.
Behold Trigon, master of the dark, destroyer of dimensions, enslaver of civilizations.
Enough with the resume, Dad.
And there's no doubt you've heard his voice somewhere. Batman, the Brave and the Bold saw him voice numerous villains like Black Manta and Steppenwolf, where his booming voice paired wonderfully with the comedy of the series.
I wanted to do that within 5 minutes of knowing him.
More recently, he's been seen as the villain Trigon in Teen Titans Go, and everyone's favorite walking, talking tree in Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Assemble, and Ultimate Spider-Man.
It's okay, he's with us!
Just like Vin Diesel, Richardson has proved it possible to convey a multitude of emotions with 3 simple words. Number 3. J.K. Simmons.
Spider-Man is a masked menace!
It isn't often that an actor brings a character to life in live action so well that they're asked to reprise it in an animated format. But that's exactly what happened with J.K. Simmons and his role of J. Jonah Jameson, time and time again.
You Avengers, the Fantastic Four, you're all vigilantes!
Simmons nailed the arrogant rage of the character in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy and has reprised the role across various TV shows.
New York City, we've been invaded by another insect. This one calls himself the Beetle.
While some are superhero-oriented like Ultimate Spider-Man and the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, others are pure parody like The Simpsons and Robot Chicken.
Stop the presses, send my wife some flowers, and bring me an Advil. What do you mean you don't work for me? You're hired. Now that you're hired, you're fired. Now that you don't work here, we can be friends. Now that we're friends, how come you never call? Some friend you are.
Though not quite as hefty, Simmons has voiced 2 imposing figures in Justice League Unlimited, Wade Eiling and the Apocalypse Warrior Mantis.
Fall before the power of Mantis!
Number 2. Tara Strong.
Don't worry about it, Tiger. I can handle myself.
This voice actress is one of the most prolific working today. On the Marvel side, she's voiced noteworthy roles like X-23 in Wolverine and the X-Men, Mary Jane Watson on Ultimate Spider-Man, and many other strong female characters.
It must take so much out of your life. Don't you sometimes wish you could just be a normal person?
But she may be a bit more well-known for her DC work. She's voiced Batgirl in numerous movies and video games, as well as the series The New Batman Adventures.
Once you 2 are out of the way, ain't gonna be no one to stop me.
Don't bet on it, Gruesome.
Her most iconic comic book role, however, is no doubt Raven of the Teen Titans.
Azarath Metrion Zinthos.
Strong brings a blend of confidence and darkness to the spooky half-demon, making her one of the more layered heroes on the team.
Not like I expected a parade, but...
Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Spider-Man, allow me to introduce myself.
Worst me day ever.
A supersuit must exhibit creativity, craftsmanship, and practicality. Your first suit is due at the end of the semester.
I'm not a man. I'm an animal!
While I can stand, I will not stand for this. I will teach you the honor of Kunlun.
I just wanted to help. Did I do okay? Tick-tock, tick-tock. That, my friends, is the sound of time running out for you.
Dr. Octavius vanished in that explosion, and Dr. Octopus was born.
In any event, I've made your favorite, French onion soup. And when you let it get cold this time, note that it's in a microwavable crock.
According to the city's master plan, this is the original town library. But it's been abandoned for decades.
I'll take that. Don't ever lose this.
Number 1. Mark Hamill.
I ask you, Harley, who's given more hours of amusement to the Gotham police force than me?
No voice actor has become more synonymous with their comic role than Mark Hamill has with the Joker. Playfully balancing along the line of twisted and delightful, Hamill flawlessly embodied the role during his time on Batman the Animated Series.
Smell the roses, Batman!
He's since voiced the character in video games and animated films, but it isn't the only comic book role he's taken. He's also voiced one of Spider-Man's most iconic villains, Hobgoblin.
So this is what it's all about.
More recently, he portrayed Ulysses Klaue in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Dr. Pym, I presume. My name is Ulysses Klaue. I'd like to have a word with you about the vibranium sample you're working with.
Both of these Marvel roles have seen him bring the aplomb and wickedness fans have come to expect when Hamill is attached to play a villain.
You've become my hobby.
The folks at Marvel seemingly broke all the rules with their What If comic book line. It was a series of stories that imagined alternative origins and tales for their beloved crop of characters. And when that What If formula was leveraged for a recent animated series, things got pretty interesting, not to mention dark.
No, Bruce. But he can't die. He can't die.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 darkest what-if moments.
Where I come from, history has never looked kindly on those who lock men in cages.
For this list, we're looking at the bleakest and saddest scenes from the first season of the animated Marvel show. Since we will be discussing important plot points, a spoiler warning is in effect. What do you think is the darkest scene on What If so far? Number 10. Loki invades Earth.
We have the same enemy here. The person who killed your brother also killed 2 of my people. Good people. We should be working together.
We are not allies.
After Thor is unjustly slain on Earth, Loki arrives to punish the villain responsible. He agrees to team up with Nick Fury to bring Hank Pym to justice for going after the God of Thunder. After a fun final battle, Loki decides to turn on his new ally. He brings Asgardian soldiers and technology to Earth and declares himself as the de facto ruler.
It's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave subjugation. The bright lure of freedom hoggles you, diminishes your life's joy.
And to make matters worse, nearly all the Avengers that were around in the original timeline had already fallen. Fortunately, Fury knew at least 2 captains who would be willing to rebel against Loki's tyranny. The might of those heroes and a newly arrived Black Widow will hopefully be enough to save this oppressed world.
You and your replacement Avengers fought valiantly, but now I think it's time you told me all your secrets.
Number 9. Killmonger slays Rhodey and T'Challa. The devious Killmonger supported Tony's decision to send Rhodey to a black market vibranium deal.
We send Rhodey. There, he's U.S. Air Force, and he's the company's military liaison. We're all above board.
I think that's a great idea.
At the same time, the villain ensured the Wakandans knew Americans were trying to purchase their most precious resource under the table. Killmonger's complex plan ensured that Black Panther and Rhodey ended up in the same place. The villain took advantage of that fact by slaying both of them while they were distracted.
Let me take the vibranium back where it belongs.
Sorry, cuz. That ain't gonna fly.
Once they were both gone, Killmonger made it look like Rhodey and Black Panther had ended each other's lives. The villain's sinister plot increased tensions between 2 countries while also taking 2 good men from the world. And although Tony figured out the truth, he could not stop Killmonger's dark plot.
Word to the wise, never play Clue with Jarvis. He sees all.
Go ahead, call the cops. Still won't get here in time to save you.
Number 8. Stephen Strange absorbs living creatures.
This is where it starts for you, with the death of Dr. Christine Palmer. So overwhelmed by loss, you will seek answers in the mystic arts.
Although Dr. Strange has the ability to travel back to the night where his beloved Christine died, he can't seem to prevent her demise from happening over and over again. He eventually learns that there is a twisted way to get the power he needs to change fate.
Aha! Gain the power through the absorption.
We watch as Strange steals life from a series of monstrous-looking beings to increase his own magical capabilities. As he absorbs more creatures, we get foreboding hints that he is becoming more beastly too. Although Strange's intentions were good, the way he gained his power was truly evil. This absorption sequence marked the point where the hero we knew became a villain.
He's on the wrong path. I could warn him, intervene. But the fate of his universe is not worth risking the safety of all others.
Number 7. Ego finds Star-Lord. On the surface, the episode where T'Challa's journey around the universe as Star-Lord may seem like one of the brighter what-if stories. But the fun adventure hides an extremely dark ending. The episode ends with Ego finding his son Peter Quill on Earth.
Sorry, we're close. What, Peter? Can't spare a little time for dear old Dad?
After the two met in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the villain revealed his plan to spread across the universe like a virus.
I need to fulfill life's one true purpose. To grow and spread, covering all that exists until everything is me.
We even saw a small example of a few civilizations being overwhelmed by Ego's presence. The villain's destruction only happened because Star-Lord's friends got there at the right time. Although Ego's initial attack was stopped on What If, seeing the planet execute his evil plan by hurting his son during their first meeting was pretty dark.
Come on, relax, son. It'll all be over in 1,000 years or so.
Number 6. The heroes lose hope.
Another survivor camp claims to have made progress on a cure.
Awesome! Global crisis solved! High fives all around, guys.
Not quite.
A team of heroes gets word that a zombie cure might be waiting for them in New Jersey. But during the train ride, Hope gets infected with the virus. Her allies try to stay optimistic that they could find the cure to save her just in time. But when the train runs out of fuel in a zombie-infested area, Hope decides to lay down her life to get her friends to safety.
Peter! Smile. Smile for me, okay?
Watching her take her final steps was incredibly heartbreaking. Unfortunately, her demise becomes even more tragic when we see her come back as a zombie and attack her friends. Seeing the heroine turn into a member of The Walking Dead gave us little hope that this timeline could get better.
I'm sorry. She gave her life so we could get the cure.
Number 5. Natasha confronts the Watcher.
And then there was one.
I won't go back there. My world is gone.
Once the Guardians of the Multiverse complete their mission, the Watcher enables them to return back to their original realities. However, Natasha refuses to go. She reminds the Watcher that her home was completely ravaged by Ultron in an emotional speech. And when Natasha asks him to do something to aid her home, he reveals that he's either unwilling or unable to.
Then fix my world.
I can't, Natasha.
The Watcher instead decides to take her to a less damaged world that's in the midst of a huge conflict. While his gesture is nice, Natasha still has to carry the weight of losing everyone she knows. She also must live with the fact that the powerful Watcher didn't move to save her world.
We're just stories to you. We're not real. You watch us fight, win, lose. Tell me, did you make popcorn while Ultron murdered my friends and burned my world to the ground?
Number 4. Hawkeye dies as a villain.
Drop your weapon!
I swear, I didn't shoot.
It was tough watching members of the original Avengers lineup meet their ends in a variety of gruesome ways. Hulk's demise was particularly grim and hard to watch. However, Hawkeye arguably had the saddest end of them all. He was given the task of observing Thor by S.H.I.E.L.D. higher-ups. All of a sudden, one of Hawkeye's arrows flies loose and fatally wounds the God of Thunder. The Archer is quickly arrested and left questioning how this tragedy could have happened.
This doesn't make any sense. I don't slip. I don't misfire.
And before Hawkeye could learn that he wasn't responsible, Hank Pym takes his life. Knowing that the Archer died confused and disgraced made his last scene stand out in an episode full of depressing demises.
Barton had a wife and kids. If he was gonna go, it wouldn't be willingly.
You think he was murdered?
If I had to guess, my money is on the same someone who killed Stark.
Number 3. Ultron overwhelms the Watcher. We initially thought the worst thing Ultron was going to get away with was launching nuclear weapons on his version of Earth.
We're too late. He did it.
However, he accomplished something far worse after gaining the power of all the Infinity Stones. After becoming aware of the multiverse, Ultron decides to bring his violent version of peace to new realities.
So many universes, so much chaos. They need to be silenced.
You do not have to do this.
But the Watcher attempts to break the robot first. Unfortunately, he is unable to keep up with Ultron's raw power. The Watcher is left with no choice but to retreat. If this episode didn't end on an optimistic scene where the Cosmic Observer teamed up with Strange Supreme, Ultron's victory would have led to the show's grimmest ending.
Run. Watch. It doesn't matter. From here, I can see everything. No one can stop me now.
Number 2. Vision's betrayal.
I'll canvass the base, see if I can find his transport.
Sergeant Barnes, you will not find what you're looking for.
During the zombie apocalypse, Wanda Maximoff became a member of the Undead Horde. Since Vision was unable to cure her, he kept her fed by tricking people into becoming her next meal. The dark truth was revealed when Bucky discovered Black Panther was one of the unlucky victims. Seeing what Vision did to T'Challa was already disturbing.
Vision, what the hell is this place?
A trap.
Nkosia! We feared you were dead.
The Vision grabbed me in San Francisco. Thought he was saving me.
But knowing the synthetic being would have continued sacrificing heroes if given the chance was an unbearably grim thought. While Vision tried to logically explain what he did, there's no excusing his manipulative actions. It's impossible to look at him the same way when you know about the horrifying methods he used to keep Wanda going.
You lured innocent people to their deaths, all in the name of love?
Love sucks.
I still cannot entirely fathom what I have done.
Number 1. Strange Supreme breaks reality.
I spent centuries, sacrificed everything for Christine. And now can you save her?
All of the monstrous things that Strange Supreme did allowed him to bend the rules of time and save the woman he loved. However, his dark path came at a high cost. Since rescuing Christine in the past caused a massive time paradox, reality completely falls apart. Even Strange Supreme's incredible power isn't enough to stop his universe from collapsing around him. And the desperate man cannot convince the Watcher to help either.
Honestly, if I could fix this, if I could punish you instead, I would. But I can't interfere. You, more than anyone else, should understand that meddling with time and events only leads to more destruction.
In the end, Strange Supreme is forced to watch Christine fade away from him one last time. His attempts to reunite with his love caused the end of everything. We have yet to get a bleaker what-if ending than a completely isolated Strange Supreme forced to exist in an utterly broken reality.
No, 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 no. I'm sorry.
It wouldn't be a proper look at superhero cartoons if we didn't highlight the best battles. So feast your eyeballs on these knockdown, drag-out superhero fights.
Meaning every piece of meat on the light is a coward.
Apocalypse and his Horsemen. X-Men Evolution. Here's for numbers.
Oh yeah? You in what army?
You just had to ask, didn't you?
Let's see if you can handle just one X-Man.
For this list, we're looking at some of the biggest, most iconic, and most memorable animated fights to appear on the small screen. We'll be excluding superhero fights that take place in animated films as they deserve their own list. Please be advised that a spoiler alert is now in effect. Which superhero fight do you think broke the bank? Now, let's get ready to rumble. Number 20. Everyone vs. Shredder, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As far as season finales go, this series definitely went all out. Shredder threatens to steal Splinter's Hamato essence to complete his nefarious agenda, so it's up to the Turtles in April to save the day. While they may not have had as much luck in their first fight against Shredder, they make one heck of a comeback with a little help from the Hamato ancestors. Not me! Nope. Wrong. Wrong again. Surprise! With their abilities boosted to strong new heights, the Turtles and their allies take turtle power to a whole new level. The amazingly well-animated fight scene leads up to a final clash between two giant ultimate forms that will leave you shell-shocked. Number 19, Static and Gear versus Ebon and Hotstreak. Static Shock. The tenacious villains are always the most troublesome. After Dakota's Bang Babies start losing their powers, meta-criminals Ebon and Hotstreak acquire a vial of quantum vapor to restore their powers. While they accomplish their goal, the gas works a little too well, and the overexposure fuses them together into a two-headed monster ripped straight out of a nightmare.
Ebon and Hotstreak. They must have sucked up so much gas they fused together. Whoa.
Even when their powers are restored, Static and Gear have trouble dealing with the fearsome Ebon Streak. With the combined power of fire and darkness, Ebon Streak easily brushes off the heroes' strongest attacks and even tries to suck them into a black hole. In the end, Static resorts to extreme measures to put an end to his arch nemesis Rampage. At least for the time being. Number 18, Danny Phantom versus Pariah Dark. Danny Phantom. Leave it to Vlad Plasmius and his power-hungry ambitions to put the fate of two worlds in jeopardy. After trying to steal ancient ghostly artifacts, Vlad reawakens Pariah Dark, the king of ghosts.
Who dares? Oh, hello. Plasmius, Vlad Plasmius.
The being is so powerful and terrifying that his very presence forces all ghosts into the ghost zone to run for their afterlives. In a last-ditch effort to stop the Ghost King, Danny convinces the other ghosts to fight back against Pariah's forces. When he finally confronts Pariah, Danny evens the playing field using a high-tech battlesuit. The spectral hero puts his life on the line and gives the fight all he's got. Danny's heroic efforts bring Pariah's reign to a permanent end. Number 17, Everyone versus Apocalypse and his Horsemen, X-Men Evolution. It doesn't matter whether you're human or mutant. No one is safe from Apocalypse. After being sealed away for millennia, the villain resumes a plan to evolve humanity into mutants.
I have embraced it and merged with its technology so that I may lead the evolution of the human race.
Apocalypse controls Professor X, Storm, Mystique, and Magneto, and transforms them into his four horsemen to accomplish this goal. Outgunned and with the fate of humanity in their hands, the X-Men ally with S.H.I.E.L.D., the Brotherhood, the Acolytes, and New Mutants to attack Apocalypse and his servants. It was hard enough to coordinate an attack on 4 different parts of the globe, but doing so while fighting powerful mutants that Apocalypse has enhanced makes things all the more intense. Thank goodness Rogue had a secret weapon.
You've used us for the last time.
Number 16, Ripjaws vs. Cyber Squids, Ben 10. What starts as a simple joyride at the bottom of the sea quickly becomes an underwater nightmare. While investigating the ocean floor, Ben, Gwen, and their new friend Eddie find themselves under siege by a mysterious pack of cyber squids. Ben quickly transforms into Ripjaws, who excels in underwater combat. He proudly lives up to his namesake while demonstrating superior strength and speed. While Ripjaws doesn't get the chance to shine compared to some of Ben's other aliens, it's moments like this where he can unleash his full potential. Seeing Ripjaw make quick work of the squids reminds us of how powerful and terrifying he can be.
Where'd that thing come from? Relax. Looks like he's on our side.
At least until the Omnitrix times out and he's human again. Number 15, the Titans versus the Brotherhood of Evil, Teen Titans. When the Brotherhood of Evil hunts down and traps young heroes, the Teen Titans fight back by assembling pockets of resistance. Even Beast Boy, who is essentially the Titans' goofy younger brother, steps up and leads his own team to attack the Brotherhood.
I think we can take him.
I think you are correct.
While the Green Teen Titan and his team are quickly overwhelmed, his actions allow his allies to launch a surprise attack. After being sealed away for millennia, the villain resumes a plan to evolve humanity into mutants. It's fantastic watching the heroes whittle the villains down one by one. Who needs the Justice League when you've got these young heroes backing you up?
Master, no!
Number 14, the team versus the Light and the Reach, Young Justice. Underestimating these young heroes is a recipe for instant defeat. After months of spying and covert operations, the team finally manages to pull one over on the Light and their alien allies, the Reach. During a summit, Aqualad turns the villainous groups against each other while uncovering vital evidence of their activities.
The Light and the Reach deserve each other. Both sides play at being partners. But the Reach believes the Light to be their naive tools of conquest, when in fact, the Light has manipulated the Reach from day one.
The Reach doesn't react well to this deception, and the meeting devolves into chaos. The heroes take advantage of their enemies' confusion and launch one surprise attack after another against the villains. Considering how often the Light deceived the good guys, watching the team get a major victory over the organization was satisfying. It's almost as great as watching Aqualad finally defeat his father and rejoin the team.
I believe that was fairly ruthless, Father.
Number 13, the Symbiote versus the Sinister Six, the Spectacular Spider-Man. Considered one of Marvel's best animated series, The Spectacular Spider-Man is well known for exploring mature themes, its amazing animation, and a ton of impressive fights. We still love watching the clash between Spider-Man and Venom.
You ensnared another human being?
Someone better suited to our gifts. And to our mission, destroying you for rejecting us.
Another equally impressive fight is the Webhead's battle against the Sinister Six, or more accurately, between the Sinister Six and the Symbiote. After taking control of Spider-Man's body, the Symbiote takes it on a joyride to subdue the Sinister Six. The Symbiote is initially overwhelmed by the villain's superior numbers. However, it quickly adapts and easily keeps up with the Six while picking them off one by one. The suit emerges victorious in the end. Luckily, it's stopped by police before it takes things too far.
Spider-Man, stop! It's over!
Number 12, Batman and Robin versus Gotham's Rogues Gallery, the Batman. Watching Batman take down each member of his Rogues Gallery is awesome enough, but seeing him take down all at once is pure epicness. After foiling the plans of Vigilante Rumor to wipe out all of Gotham's criminals, Batman faces yet another challenge. All the villains are accidentally released, and they're eager to get some payback.
And if we cut in, Batsy?
You see, there's this nasty little rumor we'd all like to stomp out.
Despite the odds being against them, Batman and Robin stay true to their moral code and protect Rumor from the rogues. They face down Mr. Freeze, Bane, Poison Ivy, the Joker, and more. Batman and Robin keep their cool as they lay the smackdown on these iconic villains. Not bad for a heroic duo without superpowers. Number 11, Iron Man versus Dr. Doom. Iron Man Armored Adventures. There's a reason why Dr. Doom is one of the smartest and most powerful villains in the Marvel Universe. Even though Iron Man's armor is highly advanced, Doom's armor is on a whole other level. Inspired by the design and power of the Moccalan rings, Doom's armor can simulate magic and alter the laws of physics.
From your body.
Even the firepower of War Machine's armor and getting crushed by a building barely slows him down. After losing the first fight, Iron Man and War Machine challenge him to a rematch, but just barely survive. If it weren't for the timely arrival of S.H.I.E.L.D., things could have ended very poorly.
I can handle Doom.
Our guns aren't on Doom, Iron Man. They're on you.
What?
Von Doom has diplomatic immunity, and he's coming with us right now, back to Latveria.
Number 10, Bruce Wayne versus Kyoto Ken, Batman the Animated Series. Sometimes the best superhero fights aren't those between people with powers, but rather those between mortal men. After Alfred is kidnapped by Bruce's former martial arts rival, Kyoto Ken, Kyoto challenges him to one final duel. The stakes of their fight are already high enough as they duel amidst an erupting volcano. But to make things worse, Bruce is forced to keep his distance or he could perish from Quixote's death touch. Fortunately, Batman plans ahead and outsmarts his rival. In the end, despite all the trouble Quixote caused, Bruce still attempts to save him.
Grab it!
However, Quixote accepts his demise and spends his final moments acknowledging Bruce as a worthy adversary.
Quixote! The rope!
Number 9. The Turtles vs. Tengu's Shredder. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Regular Shredder may be scary, but the original is downright terrifying. As a practitioner of the dark arts, Demon Shredder can summon monsters. He can also destroy entire armies and reshape the world into his own chaotic image. Because he is one of the strongest foes the Turtles have ever faced, they're forced to ally with nearly every friend and foe they have in order to stand against him.
The evil that transformed this city is spreading over the world. The entire world. Whether we like it or not, we're all in this together.
Through great pain, sacrifice, and help from a former mentor, the Turtles exceed their limits to fight Demon Shredder on equal footing. And by equal footing, we mean they all turn into dragons and rampage across New York kaiju style. This epic final battle made it easy to see why TMNT fans consider this the series' best season. Number 8. Strange Supreme vs. Doctor Strange. What if?
I spent centuries, sacrificed everything for Christine. And now can you save her? No, Steven. We can.
After a version of Doctor Strange loses his beloved Christine in a car accident, he absorbs the power of other magical creatures to get strong enough to travel back in time and save her. This Strange Supreme eventually decides to absorb his nicer half to change history.
You can't save her. She's dead.
His sinister decision sparks an intense and emotional battle between two sorcerers. Each of their spells is beautifully animated, fluid, and distinct. The fight also features both wondrous mystical imagery and visceral hand-to-hand combat. And having their two sentient capes fight each other was a fantastic touch. Although the shocking outcome of their clash is a downer, this magical battle was a definite highlight of the episode.
You can't do this.
But we must.
Number 7. Teen Titans vs. Trigon. Teen Titans. Slade may be the Titans' arch-enemy, but he's far from being their most powerful foe. That honor belongs to none other than Trigon.
The Earth is mine!
Essentially DC's version of Satan, Trigon is a godlike entity known for conquering entire worlds. After he uses his daughter Raven to arrive on Earth, the Titans attempt to stop him, but their attempts end in failure without Raven.
Not even a farewell blessing from my daughter can help you. Be gone.
Even when they do find her, Trigon does whatever it takes to ensure his daughter doesn't rise against him. But despite the fact that the odds are stacked against the Titans, they refuse to give up and even work with their nemesis Slade. Their determination inspires Raven to overcome her fear of her father and unlock her true potential. She satisfyingly sends him to Kingdom Come.
Azarath Metreon Xanthos!
Number 6. Party Thor vs. Captain Marvel. What if?
Party's over, pal.
Yeah, maybe here's a thought. How about you just buzz off?
When Thor's Midgard party gets too out of control, Captain Marvel is brought in to confront the God of Thunder. After their talk becomes violent, these extremely strong heroes demonstrate how powerful they are. Both of them can hit hard enough to send their opponent flying into another country. On top of that, they each have special abilities and equipment that they use in creative ways.
Right with you, just 1 second.
There it is.
Woo! Let's do this! The animation perfectly captures the speed and strength of these incredible warriors. While we're still not sure who would win if Captain Marvel and Thor used the full extent of their powers against each other, this fight was still a satisfying showdown between heroes.
You know what you need?
A stiff drink and 2 weeks in Hawaii.
A timeout.
Number 5. Ben Tennyson and Rex Salazar versus the Alpha Nanite. 7th century. The Alpha Nanite is yet another example of that fun trend where sentient machines turn against their creators.
I am your Alpha. I came home. You are pleased?
No, not especially.
After escaping from the Null Void, the Alpha Nanite returns to his home dimension and causes mass chaos. It's so formidable that Rex needs to ally with Ben 10 himself to end the madness. Of course, that's easier said than done. After Alpha absorbs billions of nanites and the power of Ben's Ultimatrix, he becomes larger and can transform into mutant versions of Ben's aliens. Alpha also absorbs a major source of Rex's abilities too. Just as all hope seems lost, both heroes combine their powers to defeat Alpha and send him back to the Null Void.
Wow. That's just... wow.
Number 4. The Guardians of the Multiverse versus Ultron. What if?
I can destroy galaxies with a thought. Why won't you die?
Ultron's fight against the Watcher was one of the most unexpected and awesome fights in the series. But the robots starred in a better clash in the Season 1 finale. After Ultron threatens to wreck the multiverse, fighters from different realities assemble to break the bot. Although the machine's incredibly powerful, the warriors stay in the fight thanks to Strange Supreme's magic. All the Guardians show off unique attacks before teaming up to relentlessly hit the robot in a breathtaking sequence that doesn't cut away. And just when you think the bout is over, Ultron starts an entirely new phase of the fight. Featuring epic action, several twists, and an unforgettable conclusion, this battle is a must-see for any Marvel fan.
Are you alright?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was... could someone explain, please?
I gave him a virus. A nasty one.
Number 3. The Battle Beyond Good and Evil. X-Men the Animated Series. From time travel, a wedding, and even a team-up between Apocalypse and some of the baddest mutants around, the Beyond Good and Evil story arc is filled to the brim with action-packed moments.
Then shall I begin anew, recreating the universe in my own image. A perfect universe where I shall rule unchallenged.
But the most intense battle happens after the X-Men discover Apocalypse's plan to destroy all of time and recreate the universe using the power of kidnapped psychics. Cable, the X-Men, and even Magneto challenge Apocalypse and his horsemen to one final showdown. The stakes couldn't be higher in this all-or-nothing battle.
One man, small and alone, remains, defending the universe. If only he knew. 2 small men, Sinister.
It's no wonder so many people consider this to be the true end of the series.
You will simply cease to exist. The end of time for you.
Number 2. The final battle with Darkseid. Justice League Unlimited. Leave it to Lex Luthor and the Legion of Doom to resurrect one of the universe's most evil tyrants.
It seems I have you to thank for my resurrection. Though your world will suffer slowly, I grant you a quick death.
Armed with powerful abilities and a new lease on life, Darkseid vows revenge against Superman and the Earth. The League has no choice but to join forces with Luthor and his Legion to stop the Apocalypse ruler from wrecking the planet. As the League and Legion deal with Darkseid's army, Batman, Superman, and Lex fight Darkseid. Superman holds nothing back and unleashes his full power in an awe-inspiring display to try to end the clash.
Nice on the stealth thing, lady.
But it's still not enough to stop Darkseid. In the end, Lex ends up saving the day by giving Darkseid what he desires most, the anti-life equation.
Their first.
Green Lanterns have a legend. No one can see the beginning of time. It's a universal law.
Write him a ticket.
Number 1. Invincible and the Guardians versus Battle Beast and supervillain team, Invincible. This fight was so brutal that it broke Invincible.
Who's next?
The powerful heroes try to help criminal enforcer Titan take down Machine Head. Unfortunately, Invincible finds himself on the end of a brutal beating, courtesy of the ruthless Battle Beast. Even when the Guardians of the Globe arrive, Battle Beast shows tremendous strength by easily defeating all of his opponents. But after a few heroes are brutally injured, the rest of the Guardians get a second win. They proceed to decimate Battle Beast's teammates. Fortunately, luck is on the hero's side, as Battle Beast withdraws from the fight. But Thawk only retreats because he sees no honor in defeating weaker opponents. If Battle Beast comes back, Invincible better be ready for one hell of a rematch.
Alright, well that's going to do it for this special deep dive into superhero cartoons. Hope you enjoyed yourself as much as I did. I've been Matt from Watch Mojo, and I'll see you next time.